everyone! So today I'm going to be talking about telepathy, and this is an ability that I have had a very contentious relationship with. It freaks me out so much. I mean, that's like the number one symptom of being insane. You hear voices in your head. So I've had a lot of trouble accepting that particular ability. I try really hard to block it out. I have ever since I even noticed it. But I didn't actually notice it start because it was just kind of always there. Even when I was a baby, I just came into this world with that particular ability. It was on the whole time. I've just always had noise in my head. I didn't know what it was when I was little. I didn't pay attention to it because it's not like anyone was talking to me. But it's followed me my entire life. When I was a little kid, I could hear a lot better than I do right now because I'm aware of it now, of course. But when I was a kid, there was just noise all the time. I was always hearing voices talking to each other or just saying something. I don't really know because, as I said, I wasn't paying attention to it back then. So I was used to it. And as I said before, none of the voices were ever talking to me. They were talking to each other, which I'm pretty sure that people who are actually crazy, their voices talk to them. I've never once had one of these voices talk to me. Ever! Back then, it was just like living in the mall. There was always conversation going on, and it was never about anything in particular. It was just random conversations surrounding you 24/7. And that can make it kind of difficult to sleep sometimes. So as I got older, I started having to use white noise machines, although mine are the poor version, which is basically just a fan in my room. I wish I could have music playing real low, but unfortunately I don't have the money for something that would do that. Anyway, so now that I'm older, I've noticed sometimes when I'm falling asleep and my defenses are down and I'm not really paying attention to things, I can end up with a memory of hearing lots of conversation again. I think I only have the blocks up when I'm awake and I'm going to actually notice something happening. Because it doesn't freak me out when I'm not really thinking about it. It only freaks me out when I can go, wait a second, crazy people hear stuff. I really shouldn't be hearing stuff, right? So, one time when I was asleep in a different city from where I'm living, I noticed that all of the voices were in Spanish, which was very strange because I actually don't know that much Spanish. And if it's conversation on the other side, like I was pretty sure it was, why would it be in another language? The thing about the language that they use on the other side, the closest English translation is telepathy. It doesn't matter what language you use in your head, it automatically translates. So why would it all be in a language that I don't understand? I don't really know. My mom is pretty sure that because I was in an alien city, I was listening to an alien language because everything was just alien for me right then. It makes a lot of sense. As I said in a previous video, your perception of the other side affects how you perceive the other side. Actually, I should say, your feelings affect how you perceive the other side. Anyway, the point is that this is just one of many, many very strange experiences that I've had. One of the less strange experiences was just shocking to me at the time because I had blocks up to prevent myself from picking up anybody's thoughts. When I was in high school, I was still very much at odds with my abilities, and I didn't actually believe I had any at the time. I was just kind of trying to be as normal a person as I possibly could, which in retrospect was probably not such a good idea, but you know, I had a mild case of autism, so it's been a fight my whole life to get people to understand me. So anyway, when I'm in high school, every once in a while something gets through. And one of these days I was sitting in my graphic design class, and there was a guest speaker there talking about insurance for some reason. I really do not understand why it is that my graphic design teacher brought in an insurance salesman. I'm guessing it had something to do with business. I don't really know. I wasn't paying that close attention to what he was talking about because it didn't sound like it applied to me. I did that a lot back then because I couldn't process all that much information at once. So I had to have a lot of downtime while people were talking. So I'm in my classroom, and this guy is asking us questions, trying to get us to participate, and he's asking about different kinds of things that you'd have insurance for. And all of a sudden, this burning building popped into my head. It's this house on fire at night, and it's so vivid. I'm like, okay, that's kind of strange, but it's the answer to the question, so I pop my hand up, but they call on somebody else, and that somebody else says, fire insurance! So I got the answer to the question from this other person just popping up in my head as a picture of a burning building, and it was shocking to be sure, and I'm pretty sure that I turned my abilities off much more strongly than before for at least several months, because the next time I noticed anything, it was quite a while after that. Another experience that I had when I was in high school was when I was playing 20 Questions or Hangman or whatever with my friends, and I got really, really good at getting the answers to these things. So good that they eventually stopped playing with me because it was just no contest. And it probably didn't help that I was the smartest one in the group. One was a little mentally challenged, but I liked her because she was so nice, and I knew I could trust her because she's not the sort of person who can lie or would want to. And the other girl, I'm not really sure. She just was average intelligence, I guess. Anyway, so they were playing these games with me, and I was playing Hangman, that's right. It was Hangman at the time. And it was a really long one. My friend, she thought she'd get smart and make a really, really long one, and that was going to make it take a while. I got 5 letters up on the board, and they were kind of in the middle of all these spaces. I didn't even have the first 3 letters of this word, whatever it was. Actually, I think it was 2 words. The point is that I had, like, the head and the body and I think 1 leg, and 5 letters on there. And I guessed the whole thing. It was like 20 letters, and I guessed the whole thing. Because when I was concentrating on what is it, I saw these letters and the spaces just started filling in for me. it was really weird, and I could hear these sounds in my head that were helping me to sound out how it was supposed to be spelled, too, because, I mean, it was coming in visually and auditorially. And it was absolutely right. And that was when she finally got sick of playing Hangman with me. And I really do not blame her. So for all of you out there who want to practice abilities, please don't do it while you're playing games with your friends, because they're going to hate you for it. I can't play cards with people anymore because the second I want to win, I get all of the good cards coming at me, and then I just slaughter the other person. I've even tried doing it so that all the good cards go to both of us, and it still doesn't work. I just... yeah. It's not that great, and it makes the other people feel bad because they're like, I suck. No, I cheat. That's what it is, and that's no fun for anybody. I've been working really hard on getting accustomed to my telepathic abilities, and this has been really, really hard for me because when I was a kid, my dad spent a lot of energy and time convincing my mom that she was insane just because she had abilities. I'm pretty sure he didn't really care one way or the other whether or not it was true. He just wanted her to think she was nuts so that she wouldn't listen to her heart saying he's not good for you. Point is, I have a very long-lasting scar to have to overcome in order to fully embrace this particular ability. It's actually impeded me with a lot of my other abilities, but telepathy more than many of the others. Nowadays, I use my abilities in a more subconscious way. So, because I only seem to be freaked out by my abilities when I'm consciously aware of them, usually when I'm awake, I made a deal with myself. I said, you know what? My conscious mind can't handle listening to other people's thoughts because it's scary, but my subconscious is totally fine with this. It's like normal, everyday stuff as far as it's concerned. So I've set things up so that all that information that's coming in, it is now processed by my subconscious mind, and it just kind of sends me a report every so often, especially when I request something specific. When I'm talking to people, I'll often need to know something about what they're thinking or what they're feeling, just their general mindset, because I can't read it on their faces that well. And my subconscious will send that information to me, and then I can go, oh, so this is where they're getting at. Oh, this is why they're not so happy about what I'm saying. Oh, they're not even thinking about me. It's something else that's bothering them. That kind of thing. So my abilities, they're actually useful right now, even though I cannot handle them. And it's not as good as if I could actively hear what people are thinking, but it's a stepping stone in the right direction. And this will help me to practice the ability and get accustomed to having that resource without having to push myself. And because I have mild autism, pushing myself is not a good thing. If I push myself too hard, I can end up regressing, and this is not going to be helpful in any way. A lot of you might be a little bit worried about somebody being able to read your mind, and the thing is, mind reading isn't an actual ability. That doesn't exist. Telepathy is actually a lot different from that. Basically, it's like everybody's a radio tower. They're broadcasting their thoughts constantly. People who are telepaths, they can pick it up, but You're invading our minds, not the other way around. Nobody can actually get into your mind, not without your permission, and definitely not without you knowing about it. But whatever you're sending out can actually be picked up. And some people have been able to fortify their mind in such a way where they don't constantly send it out. So I can tell you for definite sure, even if you're not a telepath, you can learn how to guard your thoughts. But it's probably really difficult because I've only noticed this with people who are just guarded in general. So the people who are most afraid of having their thoughts picked up are going to be the most protected against this. So that's the good news about that. The bad news is if you happen to be a telepath, it's going to be really hard to block stuff out. I am only good at it because having autism, I'm just good at blocking things out in general. This is just a natural ability I have. Whatever it is, if I don't like it and it freaks me out, it's gone. I just shove it right out of my perception, and I can't really even help it sometimes because it's just a knee-jerk reaction. And I have tried really, really hard to fight against that urge to block things out. But it will come before I even decide anything. It's just instant. I have noticed that an easy way for me to clear my head when there's too much going on up here, because I'm hearing all of these sounds and it's too much for me. If I focus on what's around me, I'm much more able to shut out what's up here. And so that is part of the reason why I got so accustomed to using white noise machines while I slept. Because if I'm listening to what's going on out here, what's up here kind of retreats pretty quick. I'm not really sure. I think it just refocuses me on the physical world and away from the non-physical world. So hopefully that will help some of you out a little bit. I wish I could offer more advice on blocking out unwanted thoughts, but other than just focusing or deciding, you know what, I'm done with this, it's gone, I don't really know much because I haven't actually used too many different tools. I haven't had to. Blocking things out just kind of worked. Now, up till now, I've only been talking about me receiving thoughts, not so much sending thoughts, but I actually can do that too. I thought I couldn't before because nobody seemed to be listening, but I think that has a lot more to do with the fact that nobody listens. I've noticed that normal people, they don't seem to really pick up telepathic communications. Not much, anyway. They either don't pick it up at all, or they filter it out as a natural way of living. Like, for example, when they're in a haunted house and they kind of think they hear something, but they figure it's nothing, so they ignore it, and they don't even necessarily remember they heard anything. I think it's something like that, but not being a normal person, I wouldn't know. So that's my talk on telepathy. If you have any questions or want to comment about stuff, please do that below, and I would be more than happy to expand on anything if you think I missed something, so let me know about that. Thank you very much, guys, for listening. Have a great day.